मी माझा कॅमेरा ऑफ करू का?
हाँ मैम, कॅमेरा ऑफ करा तुमचा. तर मी शेअर
Okay.
करते स्क्रीन.
Yes, Pradnya
Okay.
ma'am, you can start now.
Yes ma'am. Good evening students. Good evening to the state live lecture of class 9 geography. Yes, I welcome all the students for the state live lecture. Now here I'm going to share the screen. Then we'll start with the new chapter. Yes. Here is our screen. Yes, today we are going to see chapter 3, exogenetic process part 1. Yes, I Pradnya Sirsagar from Tilaknagar MBA Secondary School. Welcome all the students for this lecture. So today we are going to see the chapter 3, exogenetic processes part 1. Yes, already already in chapter number 2, we have studied about the endogenetic movements. Endogenetic movements means what? The movements which are internally it is going on, and exogenetic means what? It is externally. The process which is done by externally, it is known as exogenetic process. Yes, then in this chapter we will study the changes that happening in the exterior part of the earth. What we are going to study? We are going to study the changes which happens in the exterior part of the earth. Means in this chapter we are going to think only about the external changes, what happens, that we are going to see. Yes, as opposite to the chapter 2. Chapter 2 we have learned about the internal processes, but in chapter 3 we are going to learn about the external process. See here. First we are going to see the introduction. What this lesson what this lesson introduces, that we are going to see the first point of the introduction. One second, I'll change the color here. Yes. Introduction of chapter number 3. First point. See, many landforms are formed due to the internal movements. Many processes occurring on the Earth's surface also lead to the formation or degradation of landforms continuously. Here what they are saying, that about whenever internal processes it changes, that time many landforms are formed. Why? Because of this internal movements. Because of the internal movements, what happened? Many landforms are formed. Yes, but there are some also different process which occurs on the earth surface. It also lead to the formation, or we can say it as degradation of the landform continuously. Means when the internal movements we can see, that time on the earth surface we can see the land is also formed. Yes, and sometimes we can say that there is a degradation of the landforms also. Means this formation and degradation, it continuously it goes on because of this internal movements. See, third point. In this lesson, we will be studying the exogenetic external process and the landforms by them. External process occur because of the forces working on the earth surface. They are mainly solar energy, gravitational force, kinetic energy associated with the moving objects on the earth surface. Here in this lesson, we are going to see the external process, yes, and which occurs because of the force, because of the forces which is working on the earth surface. Due to some force, we can see there is an external process occurs on the earth surface. They are mainly, means for the, they are mainly, they have explained over here, solar energy, gravitational force, uh, and kinetic energy associated with the moving objects on the earth's surface. Means what happened, for example, if we'll take volcanic eruptions, earthquake, these are the internally internally yes, internally we can say, we have learned about the earthquakes, volcanic eruptions. Those movements are happening in the interior part of the earth. Yes, but when we will see different type of energy is generated with the volcanic eruption, then because of that, the because of the, we can see the, because of the wind, that time, that we can say it as a kinetic energy associated with the moving objects on the earth surface. So this is what about the introduction of chapter 3. Now we are going to go in with the more detail. What is exogenetic process? Yes. The first thing, it is about the do you know type. See here. Landforms, landforms formed on the earth's surface as a result of internal movements are called primary and secondary landforms. Yes, here what they are saying here, when the landforms, yes, on the earth surface, when there is a internal movement, that time the landforms as primary primary and secondary landforms. For example, also they have given you continents, mountain, plateaus, plains, etc. Yes, then because of the external process like weathering, erosion, transportation, and depositions, the primary and secondary landforms give way to tertiary landforms. For example, valleys, sand dunes, delta, U-shaped valleys, etc. See, when the primary and secondary landforms they are formed, that time, then because of the external process, what will happen, the primary and secondary landform gives way to the tertiary landform. Firstly, internally, if we talk, which two landforms they will form, primary and secondary. Yes, then because of the external process like weathering, erosion, transportation, then deposition, the primary and secondary landform they will give way to the tertiary landform. Tertiary landform, here you can say the example valleys, sand dunes, delta, U-shaped valleys, etc. So about this we are going to learn in detail further. Okay, then geographical explanation. Now let's move on to the main topic of our lesson. First, we are going to learn about what is weathering. Yes, see the first point here. Breaking or weakening of rocks is a natural phenomena. It is called a weathering. Yes, weathering means what? It's a natural phenomena. Yes, we cannot easily break the we cannot break the we cannot easily break the rock with the hand. Yes, breaking or weakening of rock, it's a natural phenomenon. Means it's naturally it is breaking out and weakening out of the rock. So it is known as the weathering. With our own hand, we cannot break the rock. We cannot weak that rock. So it's a natural phenomenon and it is called as weathering. What is weathering? This type of one mark type question, they can be asked define weathering. So for that, what you are going to write? It is a, you can write the answer, breaking or weakening of rock is a natural phenomena. It is called the weathering. Yes. Then weathering can be of three types. Three types of weathering it is there. Mechanical, that is physical, chemical and biological. These three weathering types we are going to learn in detail one by one. Yes. Weathering is of three types. Mechanical means physical, second is chemical and third is biological. Then next point, in arid climates, the mechanical weathering is dominant, while in humid climates, chemical weathering is more effective. Now, what is arid climate? What is arid climate? Arid climate means it is having very little or no rain, we can say. It is too dry, student. Arid means too dry. For example, we can take deserts. Yes, it doesn't have the rain. So arid climates means what? Totally dry, too dry climate. That is known as arid climates. Then see here, in the arid climates only, mechanical weathering is dominant while in humid climates. Humid climates, humid climates means what? Um, the area which is near the sea coast. In the air, the moisture contained, that is known as the humid climates. And chemical weathering is more effective. Yes, mechanical weathering and chemical weathering is more effective than mechanical. Okay, then biological weathering occurs because of living organism. Yes, biological weathering it occurs because of living organism. This was about the three types of weathering with a few, we can say the meaning. But more we are going to learn in detail with the examples. Through small activity also we'll be able to learn these three types of weathering easily. Let's move on now. Yes. See the first one here. All the students, most of the students have tried this. First, we are going to learn about the mechanical. Means, first, we are going to learn this type of weathering. So, for that, we are going to try the activity which is given over here. Now, what it is, you have to take an onion, cut it in the middle, observe the cut parts, try to remove each skin layer of these parts. See, whenever most of the students have tried this also. If we take the onion, we have to cut it in the middle part and we have to observe both the cut parts. Here you can see the layers are there. Yes, which we can see the, here you can see the layers, you can see this one. Yes, same as it is, we are going to relate it with the rock. Yes, take the onion as a rock and relate it. We will see the layers also in the rock. When the rock breaks down, weaks down, that time we can say we can able to see the layers of the rock also like a onion. Then see here, you will notice that just as we can remove each and every outer layer of the onion, similarly in nature, rocks undergo such a process. Yes, when we when we remove one layer of the onion. Similarly, in nature rock also, this type of process goes on, which you can see in the picture. See here, this is, just assume it's a onion over there, and these are the outer layers. Yes, these are the layers of the rock. The exposed part of the rock heats more while the inner part is comparatively cooler. As a result, the outer layer of the rock falls apart from the main rock. This is called as exfoliation of the rock. Now, what they have said here, whenever the exposed part of the rock heats more, when the outer part, in the outer part of the rock, it gets heats up, that time what will happen, the inner part, it becomes cooler. Inner part will be cooler, and the external part of the rock, it gets more heats. That time what we will see, there is a result that outer layer of the rock falls apart from the main rock. Means uh, due to this rock heat, what will happen, the outer layer, the layers which are outside this, they will fall apart from the main rock. Means they will get exposed, they will get a great explosion that from the main rock. So this type of we can say, we can call it as exfoliation of the rock. Yes, then. So this was about the mechanical. Sorry. Yes. So this was about the mechanical weathering. Now, mechanical weathering mainly occurs because of the following reasons. There are some reasons how the mechanical weathering occurs. So what are the reasons here? Temperature growth, release of pressure and water. These are the reasons. Due to these reasons, mechanical weathering occurs. Yes, one by one we are going to see in detail. So first we are going to learn about the temperature. Yes. Now this first main reason of mechanical weathering occurs, it is first is temperature. The minerals in the rocks expands because of heat and contract when temperature decreases. Yes, see, as we all know that rock is made by different minerals. Yes, so different minerals have their own characteristics. Yes, like some minerals react with the water, or some minerals react with the heat also. So rock is made up of different minerals, and they have their own characteristics. So what they have said here, the minerals which are there in the rock, it expands because of heat and contract when the temperature decreases. Means when the heat, when there is a heat over there, the rock will expand. Yes, and when the temperature decreases, it will contract. Yes, then due to such continuous contracting and expanding, tension develops in the rock particles. Now this tension word we have learned in the chapter 2, student. Yes, what is tension? Tension means a state of being stretched tight. Tightness, we can say, it is known as the tension. Tension means tightness, stretched tight. It is known as tension. In this, what they have said here, due to such continuous contracting, expanding, Due to this, what happened? The tension develops in the rock particles. Then, next point, each minerals react with differently to the temperature. Some minerals expand more while some others do not expand as much. Means it depends upon the minerals also. They sometimes they react according different to the temperature, but sometimes they do not expand as much as we want. Yes, then consequently the tension formed in the rock also increases and decreases. As a result, cracks develop in the rock and they break. In areas where the diurnal range of temperature is higher, weathering of this type is common in the hot deserts. Here, now when this due to this continuous contracting and expanding, what happened? Tension develops in the rock particles. Now contracting means what, student? It means that decreasing in size. Contracting means decreasing in size, and expanding means increasing. That time what happened? The minerals which reacts directly to the temperature, but sometimes the minerals they doesn't expand as much they can. So consequently what will happen? The tension formed in the rock also decreases and increases. Means one type of tightness it formed in the rock, and it sometimes it increases and decreases. So in that result what will happen? You can able to see the cracks are developed in the rock and they break. Sometimes what will so at last what we will see the result? Cracks are developed in the rock and they break it. Okay. In this area, in areas where the in areas where the diurnal range of temperature is higher, weathering of this type is common in the hot desert. Now what the word diurnal means? What means? In day to day life, in day to day or every day, the range of the temperature is higher. That time what happens? This type of weathering you will see in the hot desert. Means the mechanical weathering you will be able to see in the most common in the area that is hot deserts. So this was the first point of mechanical weathering, that is temperature. Second is frost. Yes. You know, you know that the volume of water increases when it freezes. In areas where the temperature drops below 0 degrees Celsius for quite some time, the water accumulated in the cracks and crevices in the rock freeze. Its volume increases. This leads to tension in the rock and they shatter. For example, now before this, I would like to give example of this frost reason. See, most of the time, most time you have observed also in the airtight bottle um, with the full of water, pack that bottle properly and put it in the freezer. Yes, after few days you will see that bottles is freeze totally. Yes, and the volume of that bottle is also increased. Yes, because it is being freezed and frost. That's why the volume of the water bottle is increases. So in this way also, whenever when we keep uh, whenever we keep that bottle in the freezer, the volume of that water bottle, it increases when it is freezed. In areas where the temperature drops below 0 degree, for a quite some time, the water accumulates in the cracks and creeps in the rock freezes. Means if this, see in the image you can see student, whenever there is an area, the temperature which is below the 0 degree Celsius, what will happen? The water accumulate in the cracks. The cracks you can see in this, the water will accumulate in it, in the cracks, and the crock will be freezes. Means its volume will be increase. This leads to tension in the rock and they shatter. Means again the tension will lead in the rocks, means one type of tightness, and they will shatter. They will be separate or they will be break down. This is known as the mechanical weathering. Next, this is the frost is the second. Frost is the second reason of mechanical weathering. Then third one. Third is crystal growth. Third main reason of occurring mechanical weathering is crystal growth. Now what it is, see here. In rocky coast, waves hit the sea cliff. The water is alkaline. Now what is sea cliff here? Sea cliff means what? Sea cliffs are steep faces of rock and soil that are formed by destructive waves. Means a sea cliff is a high area of land, we can say, with a very steep side, especially one next to the sea. In the rocky coast, you will able to see when the waves they hit it to the sea cliff. That time the water is alkaline and some water droplets hit the cracks in the rock. In this alkaline water, the soluble material in the rock get dissolved. Means when we are talking about the seaside, sea coast areas, that time we can see the sea cliffs are there. At the very tip of the sea coast only, there is a huge, we can say a rock. There is a huge rock over there, and continuously the waves are hitting back to the cracks of the rock. That time what happened? These water droplets, the small water droplets, they hit it to the crack in the rocks, and that time when the soluble material in the rock get dissolved, this it leads to formation of small holes in the rock. See in this picture, you can see the small holes are there on the rock. Yes, why it happens? Because it forms because of the when the water it hit back to the crack. That time the alkaline water, the soluble materials in the rock get dissolved. Then this type of small holes will be formed in the rock. This effect is this effect of solution. Alkaline water gets stored in these holes. Because of heat, this water turns into the water vapor and only crystal of alkaline materials remain in the rock. What will happen here? This is the effect of solution. Yes, when the alkaline water gets stored in the holes, that time because of the heat, the water turns into the water vapor and only small crystals of alkaline you can see in the rock. Crystals occupy more space. This causes tension in the rock. Holes are formed in the rock. It looks like a honeycomb. When you go to the seaside, student, That time you take this actual knowledge of the crystal growth. It looks like a honeycomb. When this types of holes are formed, you will be able to guess that it is a mechanical weathering of the rock. It's like a honeycomb. Yes, this was the third reason of mechanical weathering. Then next it is release of pressure. Release of pressure. It is not that tension is created in the rock only because of the temperature, freezing of water, or crystallization. It is not only about the tension is created in the rock, but if the temperature, because of the temperature, the freezing water or crystallization, the outer layer of the rock exerts pressure on inner or lower layers. When this pressure, when this pressure ceases to exist, the lower or inner layers get freed from the pressure. This also leads to weathering. Now, just take that example for this. This is about the, take a small ball in your hand. Yes, that smiley ball. When you press that ball, student, that time you are giving the pressure to that ball. Yes, to the outer layer you are giving the pressure. But here you can see the pressure which you are going, the inner layers, they are also in the pressure. But as soon as you move out to our pressure, all the inner layers, they will get freed out, they will be free. When you will give the pressure to the ball, all the layers will get freezed. Yes, and when you will remove that pressure, yes, that time you will see the pressure is released. They are free, their layers are free from the pressure. This is also leads to the weathering. So whenever there is a, if it is, if there is not, if tension is not created, that time what will happen, because of the temperature or freezing water, or you can say the crystallization, the outer layer of the rock exert pressure on the inner layer. When we press the ball with a lot of pressure, we are putting the pressure on the outer layer. Then automatically the pressure, it is going to the inner layers also. And when we free out our pressure, that time what will happen, the pressure exists and layers will be free from the pressure. This is about the release of pressure. Keep the example in your mind about the smiley ball. Then you will be able to write it in your own words also. Next, the last fifth reason of mechanical weathering is water. Some areas, some areas experience some areas experience more rainfall than others. In such areas, soaking of rock water also causes weathering of some rock, like sandstone and conglomerate. Conglomerate means what? Means mixture, or it is grouped together. Conglom Conglomerate means grouped together or a mixture. It is a meaning of this. We can say it as a mixture. In in this, now see student, as you have experienced, in the some areas there is a more rainfall, but in some areas it doesn't have, rainfall is not there. The area which is having more rainfall, that time what happened, Soaking of rock water also causes weathering. Some rocks like sandstone and conglomerate. Conglomerate means it's a mixture. These rocks are formed because of pressure on the agglomeration of sand particles. Now, agglomeration means collection of, we can say, the pebbles, small pebbles. It's a collection of a small pebbles. It is known as agglomeration. Mud also makes sand particles come together. When water penetrates such rocks, the particles get loose and separate from the main rock. This is called as granular weathering. This is called as granular weathering. Now in this, what they are saying, see in the image also. In the first image, you can see there is a rock over there. Yes, with the sand particles. And when the sand particles it get loosed or it gets separate from the rock, you will be able to see this type of grains in your hand. When you will see when the particles from the rocks are being removed, or we can say getting loosed, that time we will see the small grains are there on our hand. That is known as granular weathering. This was about the water mechanical weathering. Then next here it is about block disintegration. Sometimes both temperature and water are responsible for weathering. Yes, weathering main reason is what? Temperature and water. They are responsible for weathering. Difference in temperature cause contraction and expansion, winding the joints on the crack in the rocks. Water accumulates in such wide joints and big blocks of rock separate from each other. This is called as block disintegration, which you can see the images, student. You can see the block of the rock is there. Yes, small blocks you can see here. These are the block disintegration. It is also one mechanical weathering. Now what they have said here, there is a difference in the temperature cause. Just now we have seen. If there is a difference in the temperature, what will be there? There will be the contraction and expansion, which is winding the joints or the crack in the rocks. If there is a temperature is rising over there, that time we can see there is a contraction and expansion of the cracks in the rock. What that time what will happen? The cracks in the rock, the water will accumulate in that in such a wide joints. Then these big blocks of rocks, they are separated from the each other. This is known as block disintegration. Means here you can see the two blocks are there, this and this. In the middle you can see a wide joint is there, a big, you can see the crack is there. Yes, when the water will accumulate in this part of the crack, what will happen? This rock and this rock will be get separate from each other. When they will get separated, this type of movement, we can say it as block disintegration. Yes, we can say it as block disintegration. Then, yes. So here, till here, what we have learned? We have learned about the weathering, and then we have learned the first type of weathering, that is mechanical weathering. Physical weathering means. Now we are going to move on to the second type of weathering, that is chemical weathering. This is the second type of weathering, chemical weathering. Okay, before starting to it, we are going to try this. Yes, Take a glass, you also try, student. Take a glass of water and put it a piece of chalk in it. Yes, and on the next day, observe what has happened to it and answer the following question. Now, if we will do this activity, the two questions will be there in your mind. Did the color of the water change? Or we can say what happened to the chalk? Yes, if we will put the chalks in the a piece of chalks in the water, and next day, not on the same day, next day if we will observe that, what will happen? The particles, the chalk is made up of small particles. So that particles will be get separated. Yes, and the color of the water will be changed. Why it will be changed? If we will put the pink color chalk in the water will be turned in the pink color. Yes, if we will put any other color chalk, the color of that water will be changed. And the chalk will be separated, will get the particles of that chalk will be separated. So this change we will be able to see when we will do this activity. This is known as the chemical weathering. Next, there is also one more activity here. See, you have to take a wet cloth. Yes, when we take the wet cloth over there, we have to keep the iron nails inside that, and open the cloth after 2 days. What will happen? We have to observe it, what happens, and answer the following question. What will happen? Are there any stains on the cloth? Yes. Which color are they? Reddish, brown color. What could be the reason for the stains? This is experiment of screws. If we keep the nails in the wet cloth, already the cloth is wet. Yes, so when we will keep the nails inside that, it will get mixed with the wet cloth. That time we can say there is a change in there is small stains you can see on the cloth, and this stains, we can say the color, it is reddish reddish colored layer we can able to see on the cloth. Why would it happen? Because of the chemical weathering. Then, now we are going to see the geographical explanation about chemical weathering. How it happens. Water plays an important role in the chemical weathering. Rock is a mixture of many minerals. Yes, water plays an important role in the chemical weathering. Water is an important place in the chemical weathering. Whenever there is a rock is a mixture of many minerals. First only I have told you, rock is made with many different minerals. Water is universal solvent. Yes, many things get dissolved easily in the water. The solubility increases because the matter has dissolved in the water. And those materials which do not dissolve easily in water get dissolved in such solutions. In areas that receive heavy rainfall, chemical weathering occurs in the following way. So in this chemical weathering, what we have understood here, that water is an important role, and rock is a mixture of many minerals. Yes, and water is universal solvent. With this, if many things get dissolved easily in the water, yes, then the solubility increases because of the matter has dissolved in the water. Means the particles of the chalk, they gets easily dissolved, they gets easily separated in the water. So that's why they have said that water is a universal solvent. And those materials which do not dissolve easily in the water, it get dissolved in such other solutions. Means the materials which does not dissolve easily in the water, they get dissolved in any other solutions. In areas in areas that receive heavy rainfall, chemical weathering occurs in the following way. In some areas, there is a heavy rainfall. Then in that area, you will able to see the chemical weathering in that heavy rainfall area. Yes. Now, what we have learned today, we are going to revise it, student. Yes. We are going to revise it, student, what we have learned today. So let's revise it. First, we have learned about the weathering. What is weathering? Weathering means what? It's a natural phenomena. Breaking or weakening of rocks is a natural phenomena. That is known as weathering. And weathering has three types of weathering. Mechanical, that means physical weathering. And they have the reasons that temperature, frost, crystal growth, release of pressure, water. So these 5 reasons we have studied today. Yes. And second type of weathering, that is chemical weathering. We have learned how the chemical weathering it happens, in which area, what are the solvents we have learned in this chemical weathering, and how it occurs. This topic we are going to continue tomorrow. Yes, same lesson we are going to continue tomorrow also. Yes. Now there is a evaluation part, student. Yes. Now here you can see there is a evaluation part on your screen. You have to define the term. Yes, you can take the screenshot and solve it in your notebook. What is chemical weathering? Take the help of this lesson or this lecture also, or you can take the help of your textbook also. You have to define what is weathering, exfoliation. Yes, this exfoliation we have learned about the example of onion. Yes, with the word, keep the example in your mind. So it will be easy to explain the term over there. Exfoliation, we have learned about the onion layers, outer layer and inner layers, inner part layers. Second, we have learned this. We are going to continue this question. Last question number 3. What are the types of landforms? Yes, at the very first of this lesson, introduction, we have learned about the types of landform. Is primary landforms, secondary landforms, and it gives the way to the tertiary landforms. This, so in this way, very properly write the answers in your notebook, and same lesson we are going to continue tomorrow. Yes, and be ready with this question. Okay, I'll ask you the same questions tomorrow. Be ready for it. Okay, students. So thank you, students, for being attentive and for being listening. We are going to continue the same lesson tomorrow. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Pradnya ma'am.